Hello, my name is Hunter Chybek. In 2015, one of the biggest sports scandals ever happened called Deflategate. And according to a USA Today article from December 13, 2023, at the time, Patriots quarterback Tom Brady was accused of having the Patriots equipment manager deflate more air out of the balls than what is legal, because in the cold weather games, less air in the balls makes it easier for the quarterback to be able to grip it. And the Patriots would go on to win the AFC Championship game, which Deflategate happened in, and then they would also go on to win the Super Bowl. So today I hope to persuade you on why the NFL should be more disciplined against its players when they cheat or perform in unethical behavior outside of the game. I've been watching the NFL since I was 5 years old, and I have also done a lot of research on this topic. And I believe this topic is important because athletes can be setting a bad example for the youth, as a lot of young athletes and even just people who watch sports look up to these players and want to be like them when they get older. So when they're setting these bad examples, it's not good for the youth. Also, if the NFL becomes more disciplined against its players, it could lead to them to be less likely to perform or act in these unethical ways. So first, what are the players doing? So the players are performing in unethical behavior outside of the game, and according to a New York Times article from August 9th, 2023, Henry Ruggs, who was a former Raiders, at the time he was on the Raiders team, and now he's a current Raiders wide receiver. He was in a drunk driving accident and killed a woman, and for this incident, Henry Ruggs ended up going to jail. But a lot of NFL players are involved in drunk driving incidents, and it becomes more and more common because the consequences aren't that high. And another thing NFL players are doing are they betting on NFL games. And according to a CBS Sports article from March 6, 2023, Calvin Ridley was suspended for 1 year for betting on sports, or more specifically the NFL, and more players are getting exposed for betting on games, and this hurts the integrity of the NFL because players could be specifically performing a certain way in order to make sure that their bets hit. So now that we understand what the players are doing, we will now move on to why they are acting this way. The first reason why is because the punishments that the NFL put out are not that serious. And according to a New York Times article from July 13, 2022, they did a poll, and about 75% of players said that they feel like the punishment for sexual assault is not that serious and it doesn't really affect anyone's career. And obviously this is a serious matter, and NFL players, just because they're famous, aren't above the law, and they should be like punished more for when they act this way. And also another issue with the NFL is that in the same article they stated how they feel how good a player is can impact how much they get suspended. So if a player is more popular and making the NFL more money, they're less likely to get suspended, whereas a player who isn't as popular could be suspended more. And another reason why players still act this way is because even after their suspension, the media and everyone will still post about them, and their careers don't get as damaged as they should be compared to any other normal person. And like a year after their suspension, the media will still all post their highlights when they play, and everyone seems to forget what they did. So now that we understand why the players do this, we will move on to how we can solve this problem. So the first way we can solve this problem is create suspensions that people won't forget. And according to a Star Advertiser article from August 16, 2022, They gave an example from Deshaun Watson, who was accused of sexual assault by 20 plus women. And for his suspension he got, it was only 11 games, which isn't even a full season, which leads to people obviously forgetting what he did right after the suspension. And they proposed an idea that they could do something like a 12-game suspension, but you spread it out over 3 years. So the first 4 games of the next 3 years, you would be suspended, so people just don't forget what happened, and even by the 3rd year, you're still remembered that he did do these bad things and that he shouldn't be praised, and it could impact his career more. And another solution is on a personal level, which could involve us, is to not support that player as much after they get exposed for doing bad things, which could include like following them on social media or buying their jerseys, because if you buy their jerseys, you know you're still supporting them, and it's going to lead to people forgetting what they did. And when they, for Deshaun Watson, when he's accused of sexual assault by 20 plus women, it's not something that people should just forget. So today I persuaded you on why the NFL should be stricter against its players when they cheat or perform in unethical behavior. So the most important thing is just to not support these players as much when they perform in unethical behavior, because it's really setting a bad example for mainly the youth, I would say. And then Tom Brady, after Deflategate, was only suspended 4 games, and this is a prime example of how good a player can impact how much they get suspended, because obviously Tom Brady will go down as the greatest of all time. So if he wasn't the greatest of all time, could he have been suspended more? And that's something to consider.